kalaban yung tumon. Uy, last one na lang to. Kainin ko na to, ha. Tira ko na lang to kay kuya. Kuya! Gusto mo? Iwan ko dito, ha.
Clara or mestiza dresses for women. There are many other fashion options for the other 170 ethics. Too many to cover, but it goes everywhere from feathers, hairdresses, private tattoos, and so. Speaking of which, the Philippines dominates major international beauty standards with a grand total of 15 big Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss International, Miss Earth competitions. That's your foreign box. Nurses abroad. It's been said at one point, every Filipino has their should I just drop everything and become a nurse moment in their life crisis. That's a fact. I've had those. And the word balikbayan means returner or returning family. It is used when someone comes back from expat work abroad. You might hear the honorific title of po or popo elders, and a lot of people often raise the backs of the hands of their elders to their forehead as a sign of respect and say bless. In the Philippines, you have your name and you have your Pinoy nickname, and they get really weird and creative. Pepsi, Bing Bong, Billy Boy, and everybody on every island in every region will tell you Filipinos are obsessed with karaoke. The first karaoke was actually patented by a Filipino for some Japanese. dance, but the most famous one considered the national dance is tiniking, a dance done between two pairs of perpendicular bamboo poles that are clapped together as percussion tools, and the dancers must weave their feet in and out in the spaces before getting hit or tripped.
Now, on a bit of a more objective note, we do have to talk about some of the controversies.
The Philippines is beautiful, but if you've been keeping up with current events, they do have their fair share of issues that have made headlines. We don't sugarcoat everything here.
Human trafficking, whether it's the sex industry, slavery, or organ smuggling, has been a problem in certain areas. And even though anti-trafficking acts have been passed by the government, enforcement has not always been on par.
The drug trade has also been a major inconvenience for decades, affecting millions of people in the country. This has led to the new controversial laws instituted by President Duarte, which encouraged the public to seek bounty in exchange for hunting down drug pushers. Many have died in the process.
And finally, you have the Morocco conflict, an insurgency in the predominantly Muslim Mindanao region, which sought to take parts of eastern Malaysia and break away from conflict. The fight has been going on for nearly half a century, and now it's just ending at the turn of the 21st century. Kind of. For what it's worth, though, in the Philippines, everyone is Filipino. You don't have to be related to anyone to call ate or kuya. There's even a word, bayanihan, which means something like helping one another through community spirit, without expecting anything in return. In any case, we gotta finish off the segment with history.
Austronesian.
Tribal kingdoms and sultanates.
This guy came to the island.
The following villain comes in.
Lapu-Lapu and Magellan dies in battle.
5 Spanish dudes follow through.
They finally become a colony of Spain.
The galleon trade.
British Philippines.
And then back to Spain, the Treaty of Paris.
Philippine Revolution.
The Spanish-American War.
First Philippine Republic. Philippine-American War.
American occupation.
World War II, Japan invades.
American pushes them back.
Finally, Philippine independence.
Ferdinand Marcos turns from president to dictator.
Martial law.
This guy gets killed because he was against the regime.
People's Power Revolution in 1986.
Growth from agricultural society to an industrial one.
And here we are today. And now we finish off with the notable famous people condensed. Some famous people you guys, the Pinoy geography suggested we mention in this episode include
Lapu-Lapu.
Jose Rizal, these two saints,
Melchora Aquino.
Manuel L. Quezon,
Akan Hula. Jose Parayanes Escola. And Vicente Villa.
Carlos Peña Romulo.
And all the Miss Universe winners. And there's a ton of Americans with Filipino or partial Filipino descent.
Yeah, you see lots of American Filipinos.
We'll explain more on how that happened in... Because of the long history in the Philippines being colonized by 2 major powerhouses, it would make sense that it would have ties with the outside world in many different ways.
For friends, the Philippines is generally close with all the ASEAN nations and does great business with them, particularly Indonesia and Malaysia, their closest neighbors.
The Marshall Islands, Palau, and the federal states of Micronesia are all cousin countries, many of which have Filipino migrants in them. And they all share the same history of being former U.S. territories and U.S.-influenced states.
Of course, Spain will always be in the back of their minds as the former colonizer that they gained much influence from. Although Filipinos are not considered Latino, the Spanish and many Latin Americans kind of see them as like the adopted Asians that totally fit in their family. It's like, come on, you're Catholic, you eat flan, every 5th word you speak is Spanish, you're basically one of us.
Interestingly enough, the relationship with Mexico has historically been always strong. The Philippines was ruled under a Mexico-based viceroyalty of New Spain. The Manila galleons were Spanish trading ships for 2.5 centuries linked the Philippines with Mexico across the Pacific Ocean, making 1 or 2 round-trip voyages per year between the ports of Acapulco and Manila. And Mexican traditions were brought in, like the Day of the Dead and Chaparral.
When it comes to their best friends, however, most Filipinos would probably say, even though colonial years were a little bit bumpy, ultimately the USA and South Korea.
South Korea was one of their closest best friends from the 20th century on. World War II really bonded with them after the Japanese occupation years, and they supported each other diplomatically.
Koreans are the top #1 tourist demographic that visit the Philippines. Koreans kind of admire the fact that even though they were both influenced by the US, Filipinos speak better English, whereas Filipinos practically obsess over Korean products and media.
Us.
That's why we're...
For the USA, ties were close ever since they became their colony in 1898. The U.S. also had the largest number of overseas Filipinos, at over 4 million, most of whom live on the West Coast states like Hawaii and California. They are one of the oldest Asian partners of the U.S. They have a mutual defense treaty, and they are the largest export partner and 2nd largest import after China.
American pop culture dominates much of the youth influence. Hollywood studios love filming there, and Gallup polls have shown that the USA is favored on average by over 90% of the people asked, making it one of the most pro-American countries on the planet. And Ken, you take the conclusion.
In conclusion, if you enter a room full of Asians, you definitely know who the Filipinos are. While everyone's so uptight, we're the ones singing karaoke and somersaulting. You can just feel the energy of a Filipino. There's a touch of Latin flavor with American pop undertones. But in the end, no matter what island, you're immediately considered part of the Pinoy family.
Ken, you're one of my best friends. I love you, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. Stay tuned. Poland is coming up next.